Hey guys, what's up? So today I wanted to give you guys a little video since I haven't been here for a while, and saying seeing it's the end of the year of 2024, which in my opinion has probably been one of the best years for films that we have gotten recently. And I wanted to start off for like my end of the year rankings with the biggest surprises. I might make a little video on disappointments. 'Cause- well, I'm not sure if there are many movies I saw that were disappointing. I can list a couple off, but I don't think it's worth a full video. I might make like a short, but other than that, I think we'll get some good material because there were a lot of movies I saw this year, actually. I'm kind of shocked how many I actually did see, and a handful of them I went in blind, not knowing anything. I think that benefited with a couple of them, and most of them I knew about and then was interested by. I had my skepticisms, but I still went and saw them anyway. Was still very surprised. So without further ado, let's jump on in and let me give you guys my big surprises of the year. Now, coming in at number 10, we have The Substance. Now, this kind of flew under my radar. I did see it was playing at one of the theaters near me. Yeah, hold on. I'll just give you guys an update. This is a microphone, so if you see me look down at it, just know it's not a distraction. It's just a microphone to help my audio pick out. But anyway, back to something. So yeah, this one flew under my radar. I heard stuff about it, like I heard people talk about it, but I kind of missed my chance to go see it. So I did miss out seeing it with the crowd, honestly, and that's what a lot of people said would have been the best thing to have with this movie because it really is a crowd movie, honestly. This is when you got to see with a crowd, like a group, get together with a group and watch this at home. But yeah, this film is actually really well done. I thought it kind of went for broke, honestly, and to me it went a little too far in the end because of what, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but I did feel the ending went too far. I like this idea actually a lot because when I first watched it, I was like, "That's okay, okay, that was pretty good." I don't know if I loved it, but it's one of those films that sticks in your head more and more throughout time. And after listening to a couple podcasts about it and reading some reviews on it, I was like, okay, I'm starting to piece together what Courtney Farge tried to do with this film. I thought this was a very well done film. Demi Moore is getting a lot of recognition, which she should, because she does an amazing performance in this movie. Actually, I actually felt like this was a movie about her, honestly. I don't know much about the actor, but I feel like she was not a character. She was herself in this movie. Margaret Qualley, honestly, for me, came out of nowhere and suddenly this big actress now because of this movie. But I do know she's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Tarantino, but I haven't gotten around to seeing that. But yes, this is a statement saying we need more movies like this, and sometimes you can't always go for broke. Honestly, sometimes it'll work, but I think with how this movie ended and the way the ending plays out, I was like, okay, it's a little too far for what it did. And like I like horror a lot. I don't like body horror in particular. Like it just makes my skin crawl really bad. And but yeah, I mean, it creeped me out. I like the idea, and I really hope more movies like this come out because this did show smaller movies get recognition. Because if you've seen um, the nominations that have come out for like Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, The Substance in particular has been getting a lot of recognition for like Golden Globes. In particular, Demi Moore being nominated for Best Actress, which I think she does deserve that nomination, possible win. But I'll talk more about wins and nominations in the later movies coming out on this list. So yeah, The Substance is worth listing. And even though I didn't love it at first, I'm starting to like it a little more I think about it. But yeah, this is definitely one you got to check out if you're a fan body horror, or just really want to know what people are talking about. Oh, last thing I want to mention, Dennis Quaid gives one of the. I mean, he's going for broke in this role, but the scene where he's eating, like, ugh, I hated it so much because it just zooms in, and he's so slimy in this movie, like a slimy businessman, and he like creeps me out. It was so disgusting seeing him eat, like the sound, the close up on his mouth, like ugh, ugh. But yeah, he's worth mentioning because he's going for broke in this movie. But all right, so yeah, let's move on to number 9. Now, number 9, we got Terrifier 3, The Return of Art the Clown and Damien Leone's masterpiece of horror. Now, I'm kind of hit or miss with the Terrifier movies. I wasn't crazy about the first one. I don't think really anybody is. The second one got a huge budget upgrade and a lot of people more into this world. And I like to. I haven't seen it since I first watched it, but I was intrigued by the Christmas idea in 3 and how everybody was raving about it. And this may be this is actually my favorite of the Terrifier movies. I like this one more and more because the Christmas season I feel like does lend itself to a lot of good stuff with the kills that happens, and even more so, it's it's a mean movie. Like when you get down to it, this is just a lot of mean in this movie. Like some of these characters, in particular, the podcast girl at the college, I could not stand her, and Art is as evil as ever in this movie. Like he is just um, I like it. David Howard Thornton is just having a ball as this character. Like every time I see it just brings a smile to my face, even though I know he's like this horrible killer in this movie. But he's just so fun to see, honestly, in that costume. And more so that it's kind of like his easiest paycheck. Honestly, I'm not trying to say that in a mean way, but for a character that doesn't speak or make any sound, he just uses his face a lot and his body language. It's just a lot of fun seeing him, honestly. But yeah, I do feel like this could go a lot more places with Terrifier 4. Lauren Lavera, hope I'm saying that right, is a really good, is a great introduction and a good character to add to the Final Girls of Horror list because she's a great actress in both 2 and 3, in my opinion. I like the story a lot in this. I do feel like it went at the right had the right long time runtime. I do feel like 2 was a bit too long for where it went, but I think the right amount of time with an hour and 59, if I'm correct, that's how long this movie was the good amount of time to give to this kind of movie. But yeah, Terrifier 3 made it onto this list, and it shocked me with how it did. Rolling in at number 8, we've got My Old Ass. Saying that title is so fun. So yeah, this one really did fly under my radar. Like I did not know anything about it until someone told me about it. I was like, okay, so yeah, but so there's Aubrey Plaza in it as the main character's old ass. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, this movie went places where I didn't think it would go. Saying that in a great way, because um, I thought the whole movie would be with the main girl and Aubrey Plaza just going through everyday stuff. But Aubrey Plaza is only in this for like a good 10-15 minutes, and that's and she only appears at like the beginning and then comes back at the end. I was kind of like, wait, where's more of her? But once you got to her final scene, I felt like, okay, it makes sense why she isn't in this much, because you gotta give room to the main actress. Sorry, I can't remember her name, but yeah, she did a phenomenal job in this, and it's very funny. Like, just from that title, thinking what this could be, you get a lot of funny stuff in this movie. Like, I haven't rewatched it since I did rewatch it when it came on Prime Video, but I haven't watched it again. I think I would actually, because it was just so enjoyable. And this was a strange theater experience for me, because I went on a Tuesday to see it, and it was like the middle of the day, like 3 o'clock, and no one was there. I was the only one in that theater, and it felt strange being in there by myself, but it was kind of a fun experience being at like a movie all by yourself. But yeah, this was this is actually a really good movie to watch. Even say if you're like around the time when you're graduating high school, because that's where this takes place. This takes place in the summer after this girl graduates, and is trying to make the most of what time she has left before she goes to college. And coming from someone who just graduated this year, actually, I felt really seen by this movie, because I'm not going to get into too much, but yeah, this is definitely one for people who are starting to move into the next chapter in their lives, and trying to explore what more you can do with the time you have left, and all the people that are in your life, how much you should give to them and thank to them, how much you are grateful for them to be in your life. So yeah, this is definitely one worth checking out on Prime Video. It's very short. It's an hour and 30, which shocked me, because I felt it went at like a slow pace, but it does feel like one you wanted to spend more time in this world with these characters. So yeah, this is one definitely worth checking out. And even though it's not getting much awards buzz, it's definitely one to watch if you're into funny comedies or in coming of age stories. And then, along with recency bias, number 7 is a complete unknown. Now, I actually just got back from seeing this, and my curiosity struck me to go see this. I don't know much of Bob Dylan. I haven't heard much of his music at all, and I don't know the singer that well. Like, I don't know his full story. That's kind of the thing with these biopics of musicians. I don't know much about their life, like Elvis or Bob Marley. Like, I haven't seen the Bob Marley movie, but I don't know much about that singer. But I haven't watched many biopics on musicians. But I thought James Mangold did a really good job with this film. Bob Dylan, I mean Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan was very good casting. Like, he makes you feel like this is a young Bob Dylan, even though this actor isn't, but he really does look like him. Captures his mannerisms really good as well at some moments. And the thing with the sunglasses as well throughout the movie, I was like, okay, that's a bit strange. He walks around with them a lot, even at night, because you wear the things at night, you can't see that good. But the music was good. He sings. Timothy Chalamet really sings really good, actually, because you see that he can sing from watching Wonka, and more along the lines. His biggest roles is Willy Wonka, Paul Atreides, Muad'Dib, or from Dune, and then now a complete unknown with Bob Dylan. And it really is. He is unknown when he comes to New York, and he goes to meet his hero Woody Guthrie, if I'm saying that right. And the scenes with him were probably the best scenes in this movie. Like, that actor who played him did such a good job. Even though he doesn't have lines, you feel what he's thinking when he sees Edward Norton's character and Bob Dylan in this movie. And you really see they have this big connection to this character. And throughout the movie, I did feel it did feel strange with like the relationships with Sylvie and Joan, but like I said, I don't know much about Bob Dylan. I want to look up a little more, but yeah, this is a also a big awards contender as it's getting a lot of nominations right right now. So yeah, this is definitely one worth watching for the award season. And coming in at number 6, we have Smile 2. Sorry, trying to do my impression of the smile, but yeah. So when the first movie came out, I was intrigued. Like my brother kept saying, "Oh, it's like a creepypasta that exists." I was like, "Okay." So, and if I'm correct, there's a short story. It's based on a short story, I think. But yeah, the first movie I thought was okay. I mean, along the lines with like 2022 being one of the best years for horror. Um, it was good. I didn't feel like it was great. I didn't connect much to that character that well from the first movie. So when I heard they were doing Smile 2, I was like, okay, all right. I mean, I don't know if I'll like it as much as the first movie, but and then the trailer came out. Okay, this is interesting because I liked seeing a celebrity go through this, like someone who sees people daily and so many people everywhere she goes, followed by paparazzi, fans, and the idea gravitate. I was so intrigued by the idea with how they would do it. Same with like how Quiet Place Day One was like in the city with so much noise. I thought that was interesting, but oh man, if you saw my short review for Smile Two, this is way better than the first movie by a long shot. And coming from someone who didn't care much for this first movie, I thought this film was incredible. Like this was this is the first for me where I watched a horror movie that scared me so bad I started crying actually. And that doesn't happen for horror movies where I get genuinely so scared I start to cry. So that was a first for me and it is truly scary with some of these bits in the movie, and even grisly imagery, like in her apartment with all the dancers and the fans, everything, and even she rips out her hair, everything. Like, ugh, it's so creepy, but you buy into that because even more so when she drinks a whole bottle of water, like I think 5 times in this movie. It's like, oh my god, calm down. I mean, I get what you do, but jeez, I kept worrying that something was gonna come in and break that ball on her. And talking about Naomi Scott in this, Naomi Scott is a force of nature. This is her movie. I've only seen her in a couple things, like the Aladdin remake. I think Power Rangers she was into, but yeah, this is her movie. She is owning this role, and she really is the pedestal for this franchise right now. Like even this character, like you follow this character and you find out more about what she has done and everything and why she is who she is. And I thought it was so profound for a horror movie character. And this is one of the best female performances of this year, honestly. I think it might be in my top 3 for the year in horror, but there's another one that shocked me. But yeah, Smile 2 by a landslide is way better than the first movie. And I cannot wait to see more of what Parker Finn has to do with this franchise. Now, I mean, this surprises list has a few handful of horror movies on this because a lot of the horror movies this year did surprise me. Like, I want to give a quick honorable mention to a couple of them. Nosferatu, which was an artistically fascinating film, and I don't say that a lot for films, but Robert Eggers made a very artistically made film with Nosferatu with the setting, the camera work, costume design. Like it was I thought it was remarkable for a film. And then another one I'm kind of iffy about, but I still say check it out is Longlegs, which is one of the biggest horror movies this year for Neon and horror in general, as it does bring you to this sort of world in like the 90s, I believe it takes place, and does make you feel like you're watching this kind of concept in a different way, because you've seen this in like Silence of the Lambs 7 and other movies like this, but I thought they took a good turn with it. Ending I'm still a little iffy about, but I thought it was well made by Osgood Perkins, and I'm very curious to see what he does with the monkey next year. But yeah, I wanted to give a handful of honorable mentions real quick. So yeah, that's about it. Coming in at number 5, we have Carry On, yet another movie that I saw recently last week. Now I didn't know much about this movie going in, honestly. Like I didn't see a trailer for it. I didn't even know it came out. I saw stuff about it. Like I heard people talk about it, and my mom watched it, and she's like, "You should watch it. It's really good." And I was like, "Okay." So, so I got kind of got the general basis of it from what I heard from people. Kind of like if Die Hard was on a plane, even though it's not on a plane throughout the film, it's in this airport. But I thought this was an incredible action movie. Even in this year when we've gotten a lot of great action movies, some of my favorite films of this year was action, actually. But yeah, I thought this was a great film. Even in the Christmas time, this takes place on Christmas Eve. Jason Bateman gives the performance of his career, in my opinion. He is so threatening in this movie, and you don't see that from him much. I haven't seen Ozark, but I know he's mostly known for comedy. But I thought this was an incredible performance of his. Like, I didn't feel like this was Jason Bateman. This was a completely different actor in this movie. Taron Egerton is a good lead and character to follow throughout this movie, and it was so funny seeing Sophia Carson in this movie after having not seen her anything. The only thing she's most known for, in my opinion, is the Descendants movies from Disney Channel, and it's so strange seeing her again so many years after those movies came out. And even more so with the tense action in this, this is all just in this airport at this bag check mainly. And it's a small place, but the size feels so large. You feel the tensity of this guy trying to let this suitcase go by in this bag check. And with the ending, I thought it was an action packed ending, and so much of it was done from so little, in my opinion. Like, you really show this director really shows how much you can do with so little, in my opinion. And this is definitely a staple for my family's Christmas watch from now on. Really love this movie. I hope that you can do more with this story, but yeah, definitely one to check out, especially around the holidays. This is another win for Netflix. Netflix is kind of hit and miss with movies. I can't really think of many Netflix films that I like. Off the top of my head, I like the Babysitter movies. Enola Holmes is fun. Klaus, I love Klaus so much. Um, Trying to think of another one that was really good. Tick Tick Boom. I haven't seen that in a while, but I remember watching that when it first came out. But yeah, great win for Netflix and all around great performances and a tense thriller. Definitely worth checking out. And then number 4, Transformers 1. Now, I was as shocked when they chose to do an animated prequel for this franchise. I was like, and the trailer was like, okay, so that it's a prequel, and I don't know much about the Transformers movies. I've seen Bumblebee before, like the movie Bumblebee. I really like that one, and I didn't watch much of the live action movies until one came out. like Transformers 1 came out, I watched the first Shia LaBeouf Transformers. I really liked it, actually. Surprisingly, I thought it was really good from what I've heard. And even more so when the trailers started coming out more and more for Transformers 1, I was like, okay, kind of piquing my attention. My brother was really excited to see this. He really wanted to see this, but I feel like this was a really horribly marketed film. Like the first trailer, they made it look like a buddy comedy, like a haha funny, and that's not what this film is. This film is so much more, and one of the best, if not the best, Transformers movie we've ever gotten. Actually, in my opinion, it is my favorite of the Transformers movies that I've seen. But the choice with animation I thought was incredible. This animation style is very different from what I've seen in recent years with like the Spider-Verse movies and everything, but this I actually felt like I was watching a live action movie with mostly just CG because these Autobots looked really real in my opinion. Like this world, it looked real in my opinion. And most of the characters I like. Chris Hemsworth does a really good job as young Optimus. He's kind of cocky in the start, but at the end, he really does sound like Peter Cullen, honestly. Brian Tyree Henry is as great as he is in the Spider-Verse movies. I feel like he doesn't get much recognition from that. But as D16 in this movie, aka Megatron, he it brings such a gravitas in his voice with so much betrayal felt by who he looks up to and finds that he wants to destroy who he looks up to in this world because he sees his um what this guy has done, and he is truly an evil villain. If you get down to earth, you see hear what he's done. Like, holy shit, this guy is pure evil, and like some of the comedy aspect was really funny in this movie. Like, there's a lot of funny in this movie.
Oh, yeah? Well, watch this.
Coming from B 127, played by Key, he brings such a comedic energy to this movie. Metatron. Sorry, it's my best impression, but I thought he was very funny in this, and it sucks that Hasbro has decided not to make any more movies on their properties because this movie did not do good. I hate that it didn't. It deserved more attention, but I I think it's going to be like the first Spider-Verse movie where that movie made around like 300 million at the box office, but it had a good set of legs when it landed on Netflix. Everyone was raving about it, talking about it, and then a lot of people praised the sequel. So I feel like this is going to have a great set of legs to run with on Paramount Plus and digital right now. Even more so when I first watched it, I was like, "Oh, that's really good." And I started to think, "Okay, more and more, a couple more great animated films." But I saw it again just the other week. I was like, "Yes, this is really good." But when you're in a year with so many great animated movies, where there's only like a handful of them, it is hard to pick a favorite out of it. Like my favorite is Inside Out 2. I love it. I absolutely love it more than the first. And I connected to it in such a great way when it first came out. I think I was at the right time in my life to watch that movie. But like I said, it is hard to pick a favorite with these anime movies from this year, in particular with Inside Out 2, Wild Robot, and Transformers 1. But Transformers 1 was the most surprising for me, and that's why it lends itself to number 4 on this list. Now, I do want to give a little heads up. Sorry if this looks a little different. The audio, I had problems with the other clips, the last 3 clips I had for the last 3 movies on this ranking. So this is the next day after I recorded the first few of the video. So I'm very sorry for that, but unfortunately, I'm working hard to get this fixed. So, other than that, let's return to the ranking. And I'm sorry for this misconception. Now, rolling in at number 3, we have Anora. And when I first, I didn't know much about this film coming. This film came out of nowhere for me. I saw one trailer before a movie I saw, and I was like, okay, so that's there. And then months later, I just heard the buzz around this movie. Like everyone's going nuts for this movie, saying it's best of the year, performance is amazing. I'm like, okay, I gotta see what people are talking about. So I didn't know much of this going in. I knew Mikey Madison was in it. I'm not. I haven't seen anything of Sean Baker before, but I was intrigued at it. The curiosity compelled me, so I bought my ticket and I sat down and watched it. First 30, 45 minutes, I was like, okay, so critics really like people doing drugs and sex, but you get to the 45-minute mark, you see what everyone's talking about. The 45-minute mark and to the end of the movie is the gold standard of this movie. These characters are phenomenal. Sean Baker wrote these characters so well, fleshed them out, gave them all unique traits and actual character arcs, and they felt like real people, honestly. I didn't even feel like I was watching a movie. I felt like I was watching real people do everything that is done in this film. And I just felt so captivated in this world that Sean Baker created. The character of Anora, played by Mikey Madison, is probably one of the best film characters I've seen this year, or let alone ever. She is truly one of the best actresses out there right now, and she's going to have to be recognized more and more. This movie, I truly feel she needs to be recognized for and have much bigger roles because of it. Because she's truly an amazing actress and should have more of it. Even more so with she's just this she's small compared to these guys that come in later who are brutes, and she stands her ground against them, and it is impressive seeing how well she can handle them. And talking more on the characters, Yoda Borisov playing Igor is one of the best actors to have come out of this decade. I don't know anything about this guy, and I suddenly want to see more and more of him because he was such an amazing character, and I felt everything he felt, even though most of his dialogue is rare, but because he is silent. But he's just this kind of brute when you see him. But he has a heart of gold, and I love him so much. I only want good things for him. And I'm so happy he's getting recognized more and more as nominations come out for award season. Really hope he can land a supporting actor nomination at the Oscars. I'm really hoping he wins because for this movie, I would just give all the nominations it gets to this movie. I know there are other movies that are really good, but this is truly the movie that stuck out to me throughout the rest of 2024, except for the one above it. But this was truly an incredible piece of cinema, in my opinion. The ending has stuck with me so much after I left the theater. So much is said without any dialogue. The last, like, is it 10 minutes? 5 to 10 minutes. It's silent. There's only one piece of dialogue said, and it says so much in what these characters have gone through, what they feel now, and what how they feel about what they have done to come to this. Sean Baker wrote such great characters, and I cannot wait to see what more he has to do for his films. And I so want to see more of Mikey Madison and Yura Borisov in the future because they've got careers ahead of them and they could land some amazing roles in the future. Now, with the top two, I want you guys to bear with me on these because it honestly depends on how much of a shock I was by these. And it's kind of neck and neck for these films, but one was this big bombastic film that came out this year, and another was an indie film that premiered at film festivals last year and finally released this year. So, one of which surprised me the most, but let's get on to these final two so I can tell y'all which ones they were. Now, for the my second biggest surprise of the year, it is Wicked. Now, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, okay, I might go see that because everyone's going to be raving about it. Might as well try to chime in, see what the conversation is all about. And my brother, when he saw the trailer, he's like, no, it's going to be bad. It'll crash and burn. And I was like, no, I'm going to go in, give my opinion, judge it on my own merits. So, and I saw they did an early screening for it the Monday of the Friday it came out, an IMAX packed theater. So I watched the movie. I was blown away by it. Within the first 20 minutes, I was enthralled by this movie. So much of it is the world they created where they make you feel like you are in the land of Oz with these characters. Almost feels like Harry Potter with this land they created, where you feel like you're pulled into this world, like in a you're reading a book. You just feel like you're transported to a different world. But and then these characters were such amazing characters, performed so amazingly, particularly Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande as Elphaba and Glinda. And I couldn't have thought of any other person to play them better than those two actresses. They are incredible female actresses and singers that we have right now. And I am so grateful they got to land these roles because they they shined the most this movie. This is a movie where generations who have loved and grown up with this Broadway show could come together to see how they would transport it into a film, and it did not disappoint. So many people I know who have seen this Broadway show love this movie with all their hearts. And coming from someone who does not know anything about the Broadway show or have read the book or have not even seen The Wizard of Oz, I thought this was an incredible film. This was truly one of the best movies of this year and one of the best cinematic events we've had in a long time. Say with recently with Deadpool and Wolverine and Barbenheimer last year, No Way Home, and there's a lot of them you could pick, but this has truly become one of the best cinematic events and experiences I've gone to. People were dressed as the characters, wearing shirts for the show. Generations of people who have loved the show all come together. And I got really lucky to see with a crowd who wasn't singing. I didn't hear anyone sing, but I was grateful that I could enjoy it. And I'm so glad I did. The person next to me was lip syncing, but it didn't really bother me because she was wanting to enjoy it along with everybody else. And I just adored this movie. I was shocked as all hell when I walked out of that theater and said, "Oh my god, this was one of the best movies of this year." Because I didn't think the Witch movie would make it on the surprising list, or even if it is on the list tomorrow, you'll probably see. But I fell in love with this film so much. Cynthia Erivo is an actress to keep an eye out on because of this movie. Her singing is amazing. Her acting is amazing. I could not tell that was an actress. That truly felt like Elphaba come to life off stage into a film. Ariana Grande as Glinda was so charming and delightful to watch, and she was like the highlight and the humor of this movie because she has so many funny lines. And my one nitpick with this movie, it's a part one, and I so badly want to see part two right now, but I've got to wait 11 months to see it. But I'm so happy we're getting part two, and I cannot wait to see what these actors do for part two coming out. And these songs in this movie are amazing. I don't know if there's any new songs written, but I'm sure there aren't. But they did such a good job with the choreography, the singing, and the sets for this movie. And I cannot wait to watch part two when it comes out next year. But the biggest surprise for me this year, Strange Darling. Now, I did not know much of this film going in, and I'd only seen one trailer, but that was months before I went to see this movie, and I'm so glad I did, and I went in blind. This is truly one of the best films to have come out this decade. It is an indie film, and so much of that is just gravitas and amazing work by J.T. Molnar, I don't know how to say it, and Giovanni Ribisi, who are who worked on this film, and they just brought such an amazing film and an incredible thriller to the screen. Now, I recommend you skip to this timestamp for because I really imply you to go in this movie blind. Don't know anything. Don't look up anything. Don't watch a trailer because that is how I went in. And I had one of the greatest experiences watching a film. So please go to this timestamp and take my words with a grain of salt because you will not be disappointed but for going in blind because it will truly prove how much it will affect your opinion on this movie. So, give me a chance. Three, two, one. I hope you clicked off. But yeah, this was truly the biggest shock of cinema and films this year. The film we got with this was so amazing. I was shocked with how much well written characters, the story, and cinematography this was. They flat out say 35 millimeter cinematography. I was like, okay, kind of weird to point out, but they show it and they showcase it well. The shots and everything are amazing. These characters are incredible. You don't have a specific one you're rooting for. You kind of do, but you see what these do. You just follow them what they go through and what they're telling with silence or let alone the words they're said. Kyle Gallner is a newcomer to the horror genre because I've seen him in a few things like Smile and The Passenger. You guys gotta watch The Passenger; it's amazing. But those two are the main ones I know of him, and he's becoming pretty well known for horror movies. But Willa Fitzgerald came out of nowhere for me, and she was an incredible lead as the Electric Lady. I could not believe this actress, what she did, how well she played this character, and let alone the performance. This is one of the best female performances of a horror thriller I have ever seen. She goes up in my favorite all-time three, but it is truly remarkable. We've gotten a new actress who could bring so much life to a character where you don't even know her name. You don't even know any of these characters' names throughout this whole movie. You just call them by what they're listed as in the opening. But this was truly an incredible film. We need to let Hollywood know we want more movies like this because we it can get tiring with just sequels, comic book movies, adaptations over and over again. We want more like this. I want more like this. This is one of the best movies I've seen in recency. I went in completely blind. I saw one trailer, but I forgot about it because it was months before. I'm so happy I went in blind. The audience I saw it with, it was a good crowd. It wasn't packed, but truly amazing film that I want to show my friends because I adore it so much and I want to see what their opinion is. I told my friend at work, my coworker, to watch it going blind. Watched he said he was going to, but he watched the trailer before and I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "I know, I regret watching the trailer because he loved it a lot and he thanked me for giving him a great film to have him watch." He told me he had to explain to his wife what twists are because his wife is from a different country, but I'm so glad I got to recommend a great film to someone. But I just want more people to discover this film because it is truly an incredible movie that we and it's impressive that we even got it anyways with how many like adaptations, sequels we've gotten already, and just it's original. It's an original idea, and it was one of the best original stories of this year. And we got a lot of original stories this year, but without a doubt, Strange Darling was the biggest surprise of a movie that shocked me this year. Thank you guys. Sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will try to get my best of the year list out in a couple days or probably tomorrow. Depends on when you watch this video. But thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll hope to see you guys then. Take care.